Welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today we'll see how Volusia County's Coastal Division has succeeded in doubling the number of artificial reefs in support of our regional marine industry. Then Volusia Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley takes us to the Ocean Center for the U.S. National Baton Twirling Championships. And finally, Community Information Director Dave Byron sits down with his guests, Rick Fraser and Robin King of the Center for Business Excellence. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. Facing the need for a growing subsidy from taxpayers, the Volusia County Council has taken the first steps toward a fare increase for Votran public transit. In a move to help offset substantially higher operating costs, the County Council at its July 11th meeting in DeLand directed Votran staff to begin a public outreach process to inform users of a proposed fare hike, which, if approved at a final public hearing by the County Council later this year, would become effective early next year. Votran's current bus fares are below the state average. Riders currently pay $1.25 for a full fare one-way ticket. A County Council majority voted to advertise a fare increase of 25 cents next year and another 25-cent fare increase in 2015. All fare mediums would increase proportionately. A 25-cent increase in fares is anticipated to generate additional annual income of about $230,000. A 50-cent increase would produce about $348,000 in additional revenue.
A customer that we serve on a daily basis is dependent upon our transportation service. They don't necessarily have other options on how to get around, how to get to work, how to get to doctor's appointments, how to grocery shop. These are people who depend on our service and don't have any other way to get around for the most part. We understand that customers are dependent upon our services, but unfortunately, without the consideration of a fare increase, serious consideration would then go back to service cuts. And the last thing that we want to do is cut services that people depend on a daily basis to get to life's activities.
Votran's bus system's ridership has been increasing sharply. For 5 years in a row, Votran set ridership records. In fiscal year 2011 through 12, the system racked up 3.6 million boardings, 6% higher than the previous year. Votran's adopted budget is approximately $20 million and is funded by federal and state grants, fares, and $7.4 million from the county's general tax fund. The subsidy is projected to grow to $9.5 million in 2015. Votran will be holding 4 public meetings in September. For more information, you can log on to Votran.org or you can call 386-761-7700. Public input on the proposed fare increase will be sought through public meetings and online surveys at Votran.org and on bus surveys. Written comments are welcome and should be mailed to Votran Fare Input at 950 Big Tree Road, South Daytona, Florida, 32119. All correspondence should include name and address for official record. A final decision regarding implementation of the new fare policy, restructuring, and fare change will be made by the Volusia County Council later this year. Building upon 30 years of success, in 2010, the Volusia County Council embarked on an ambitious goal to double the number of artificial reefs in the ocean waters off of Volusia County. The goal was achieved July 12th when the 102nd Volusia County Marine Wildlife and Artificial Fishing Reef was constructed. The reefs immediately create marine habitats close to the shore and start growing fish, shrimp, and crabs. This supports our regional marine industry by providing easily accessible deep-sea fishing and diving.
For every $1 of artificial reef construction money spent, about $138 in economic activity was generated. So that's an incredible bang for the buck, so to speak, in building artificial reefs. And again, it attracts all manner of fish, shrimp, and crabs and marine life, and they create great fishing opportunities for our charter, commercial, and recreational marine industry in Volusia County.
Funding for the artificial reefs will come from the Volusia County's Port Authority reserves and will not affect property tax rates. For more information about Volusia County's artificial reefs, you can visit volusia.org/coastal. There you'll find a complete listing of the reefs with location and a history of the materials deployed. Here's an opportunity for Volusia residents who would like to get an up-close and personal look at the inner workings of Volusia County government. Now's your chance. The county is accepting applications for the annual Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy curriculum offers a wide range of seminars and workshops featuring the inner workings of Volusia County government. Topics include elections, growth management, community services, public protection, property assessments, budgets, and more.
And I would encourage anyone who's got an interest in the county, whether it just be because you pay taxes here or whether you want to get more involved, to be a part of the Citizens Academy, because it was a great, wonderful event to be a part of and to learn from. And had a chance to learn where our tax dollars go, how well they're spent, and how diligently the County of Volusia works to enhance every dollar we have and use. The stewardship of that money and the stewardship of caring for their employees and the county we live in was a great learning tool.
For more information, you can go to volusia.org, click on Government, and then Citizens Academy. Applications must be turned in to the Volusia County Manager's Office by August 6th. The Citizens Academy program is limited to 25 participants. Applicants are selected through an interview process, and there's no charge for the program.
I'm Joshua Wagner with the Volusia County Council. If you're going to one of our beautiful beaches, have a great day and come back often. If you drive on the beach, please observe the 10-mile-per-hour speed limit and be very careful of pedestrians, especially children. If you're visiting with children, watch them constantly and take small children by the hand when crossing traffic lanes. You might want to use one of our traffic-free zones. For more beach information, please visit volusia.org.
The Ocean Center Convention Center in Daytona Beach was recently host to hundreds of athletes who combine dance, gymnastics, and coordination. Joanne Magley has more in this week's Volusia Here and Now report.
Nearly 900 athletes from 26 states came to Volusia County for about a week to compete in the 55th Annual National Baton Twirling Championships at the Ocean Center. Twirlers competed for national championships in individual and group events.
We have athletes from as young as 4 to well into their 30s who compete in the sport of baton twirling. Most of them are probably in middle school and high school. It's a sport that requires a lot of physical ability. These athletes take ballet and gymnastics and dance, and then it also requires a lot of eye-hand coordination.
Anna Osborne Dolan is the Director of Communications for the U.S. Twirling Association and has been involved in the sport all of her life.
I twirled through college. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then I started coaching and judging. And you see that people who grow up in the sport tend to stay in the sport because it's just a wonderful family. It's a wonderful, lifelong, rewarding experience.
Today's baton twirlers are competitive athletes and perform amazing feats, sometimes with 1, 2, even 3 batons. Twirlers like Jennifer Marcus from Miami, who began twirling at the age of 3 and has won 35 Grand National titles, the highest title in the United States, and 17 world titles.
I've definitely fallen in love with the sport, so it's my passion. So I live, eat, breathe twirling. I'm constantly thinking about it, and it's just a blend of everything that I love, you know, dance, gymnastics, coordination, and you put it together with the Baton, which is our apparatus, and you get to create like a beautiful aesthetic, you know, program.
Jennifer also coaches up-and-coming twirlers and says twirling has opened up a world of other opportunities.
Aside from the competitive atmosphere, I've twirled for Florida State University, and then I went on to twirl for the Orlando Magic. So I've been able to bring the sport outside into the community and share with the world what I love.
Carissa Wimmerly has been twirling since she was 6 and says this event at the Ocean Center means a lot.
This is the Nationals event, so it's like a culmination of your year, and so you work, it's like our Super Bowl.
And like Jennifer, Carissa says twirling has provided her enormous opportunities, like being nominated and making it as a top 5 finalist for the Sullivan Award.
The award is for the top amateur athlete in the United States, and that spans across all sports: swimming, skiing, football, ice skating, or figure skating, I guess would be the proper term. And so it was really exciting for Baton to even be nominated, and so it was kind of a really big stepping stone for Baton truly being recognized as a sport and not just what people see it as in parades and at football games. A lot of Olympians, I think Michael Phelps, and a lot of really big names have won this award, and so when I saw whose names were attached to it, it really felt very special to even be selected for consideration for something like this.
And Carissa and Jennifer came out winners at this year's national championships, both taking home multiple awards, including Grand National Champions for dance, twirl, and solo, respectively. And hundreds of athletes will be back in Daytona Beach again for another national competition in about 5 years.
And we do love coming to Daytona Beach. We have been to Daytona Beach about 6 times in the last 20 or so years. We move our national championships around the country each year, but we always come back to Daytona Beach because this is a great venue and just a wonderful destination for our athletes and their families.
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
Now let's join health reporter Stephanie Strong in the field with this report from the Volusia County Health Department.
The benefits of eating breakfast. Breakfast prepares you to listen, think, and remember. Breakfast helps you maintain a healthy body weight by not overeating later in the day. Breakfast keeps your energy level up. Breakfast stabilizes your mood, and breakfast meets basic nutrition needs. The Volusia County Health Department's Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC, is putting the spotlight on the importance of eating breakfast with a statewide campaign called Rise and Shine. It's breakfast time.
Our fall 2010 campaign is Rise and Shine, it's breakfast time. It focuses on the importance of eating breakfast, 3 different foods from 3 different food groups.
Hi, I'm Tanya Marchena, WIC and Nutrition Services Community Outreach Supervisor. Taking the time to eat a healthy breakfast is easier than you think. Here are some 5-minute ideas for meals to make when you're in a hurry. What we have here is a whole grain cereal topped with your favorite fresh fruit, 4 ounces of juice, and of course, low-fat milk. You can make yourself a breakfast burrito using a corn tortilla with scrambled eggs, spinach, or beans. To add variety to your day, try some hot cereal and a fresh fruit along with a glass of low-fat milk. Take a slice of whole grain bread, add some cheese, a side of fresh fruit, 4 ounces of juice, and you have a nutritious breakfast. Another tip to try is to take some grits, add a little low-fat margarine, a side of fresh fruit, and a glass of low-fat milk. Here's to breakfast. Enjoy.
Thanks, Tanya. Although mornings may be hectic with work and school, as you see, preparing breakfast can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. These are some of the approved WIC foods that you can use to make a quick, easy, and nutritious breakfast in minutes. For more information about the WIC and Nutrition Program or about the importance of eating breakfast, please visit www.volusiahealth.com or call 1-866-WIC-FOOD. For Volusia Magazine and on behalf of the Volusia County Health Department, your guide to better health, I'm Public Information Officer Stephanie Strong.
For more information about Florida's WIC and nutrition program or about the importance of eating your breakfast, you can visit volusiahealth.com. And now let's head into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guests Rick Fraser and Robin King of the Center for Business Excellence.
Well, thank you, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, the Center for Business Excellence is responsible for preparing people for employment and meeting the training needs of people seeking jobs and companies that need trained workers. But in addition, the agency plays a major role in assisting businesses in the aftermath of a hurricane. If you're a local business owner, you need to be aware of these services, especially if a storm approaches. With us in the studio today for more on this are Rick Fraser, he's president of the Center for Business Excellence, and Robin King, the center's vice president. Thank you both very much for being with us. Robin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
And Rick, thank you for being with us.
Likewise, Dave, we're always pleased to come and talk with you. So,
Robin, before we talk about what your agency does during a disaster, let's talk about your agency's work in general. You've been around a long time. It's called the Center for Business Excellence. For those people that haven't heard about your agency, tell us what you do.
For anyone who is seeking employment, whether they're unemployed, underemployed, just want a different job, we offer services that helps connect them with the job openings that are in the two-county area, Volusia and Flagler County. That can be anywhere from helping someone brush up their resume a bit, learn how to interview again for the first time or first time in a long time. If someone doesn't have the skills to compete in the job market, then we also have training opportunities available to help them compete.
Let's talk about the economy. We know in the last 4 or 5 years it's been very, very difficult across the country here in Volusia County. It does seem like the sun is now shining back on our employment picture. It seems like the unemployment rate is coming down. What's your take on the job picture in Volusia County? Is the unemployment rate coming down, and what do you think is going to happen?
It is a nice steady trend that we've been seeing with the hiring. It's slowly and steady. It is steady is the best word I could think for it.
And what, how has your agency had to adjust over the last 4 or 5 years? I mean, you've had people, and I guess you can talk about this later, but you've had people with very high skills who haven't been able to get a job. So you've had people that have tried to perhaps change careers, and then you've had these underemployment situations. And so how has your agency had to adjust to these difficult times the last several years?
We have definitely had to expand capacity to serve a lot more people than we have served traditionally. Some of the things that we learned to do better were to help someone who comes in and show them what skills they have that they can transfer. That maybe that occupation that they were in no longer is something that they could go back out and find.
Right.
So it was taking the skills though that someone has and saying, okay, you have organizational skills or whatever that might be, and then transferring that to a different occupation that they might not have considered before. We also put a program together specifically then for the high-end professional networking, and so that was a program we developed over the last couple of years. More recently, we have put together a program specifically for long-term unemployed. I've been doing this for quite a while. It's the longest I've seen people without employment.
Wow.
And that has a very special need all to itself. And so we started, not quite a year ago, a program designed to address the needs for someone who has been unemployed for not just 6 months, but a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Do you find that people in that situation, those of us that haven't gone through that, do you find people that just give up and say, it's just not going to happen for me anymore? How do you deal with that?
I don't see so much the give up part. I see more of a desperation. Then they will take anything.
Yeah.
And then that's where they will take jobs sometimes that are where they get underemployed, and, which is something we encourage. We encourage volunteer work, and we encourage taking employment that might not be at their skill level, because they increase their employability so much as soon as they get that job.
Right.
And what that does to someone's confidence, once you have that job.
I would imagine.
Which is one of the reasons why we've seen youth maybe not get the jobs that they had gotten before. The teenagers that we work with as well, is because those are jobs that are being filled by other people that normally might not have taken that employment.
And you know, one of the things that you know we were talking about with Jane Pfeiffer recently, we had an interview with Jane Pfeiffer of VMA, the manufacturers group, and one of the things that she was telling us, and she said this the last time we talked to her, was the fact that their manufacturing sector in Volusia County has good jobs. I mean, much better than the average wage and that sort of thing, good progression and so forth, but yet they need the CNC type skills and so forth to get into manufacturing. Have you all had a relationship in that area to try to help that along?
We have, and we're working with Daytona State College. They have just recently gotten a grant that's statewide with some of the other state colleges.
Right.
And they've put together this pyramid training where it's CPTs, the Certified Production Techs, is the first basic training, and then they go into, and it's all national training that will get up into the 2-year degree program for the CNC. So we've done some short-term training with the college as well as helping them now with the long-term. It's part of it is breaking down that perception of what manufacturing is. I mean, the manufacturing that we grew up with is very different than what it is today, and that's our task, is getting the word out that they're highly educated jobs, they're good paying jobs.
Yeah, they really are.
You know, and they're sustainable.
Hey, you also were talking about I think it was a mentoring program, I think you mentioned.
It's an entrepreneurial training that's done with mentorship. We have, it's a United States Department of Labor grant that is specific for training entrepreneurs. It's in a simulation.
I see.
So that we have a mentor, and that mentor chooses a patent that they want to use as their training simulator. And so the patents are coming from UF and UCF, other offices of technology, and that team does everything that a business would do to create that business.
Really?
And we have our Shark Tank version kickoff pitch on the 13th of August. So we're going to be training a total of 300 people over the course of, well, this was our first round, is just about to end in August. Then we'll do another round in West Volusia, and then we'll do a third round in a couple of years.
Okay. No, I thought we weren't talking about sharks in Volusia. Hey, Rick, going to you. Really, one of the things we like to talk about with your agency at this time of the year is that very, very valuable service you provide to businesses if, in fact, we should have a storm that comes our way. And you know, in past conversations, I think you've told me that this really was an outgrowth of the '04 hurricanes. Pick it up from there. What do you do as it relates to helping businesses in this storm scenario?
You're right, Dave. Right after the 2004 hurricane season, with all the devastation that brought to the county, not only the residents but the businesses, the thought was that we needed to create an opportunity for businesses to get back in business as quickly as possible. From our standpoint, it was kind of a selfish thing, because as people could not go back to work, then they could go and collect unemployment. So we were trying to make it quicker for people to get back to work and get back into the stream of things. So we heard some tales after 2004 that there were some businesses that could have reopened had only they'd been able to get rid of the garbage, the wet mattresses and the linens in hotel businesses, and or they needed a truck to get some stuff picked up and removed, and they couldn't find anywhere that had a truck. Well, in that time, as you know, there were trucking companies and UPS type things that could not operate because they couldn't navigate through the debris. So this was an effort. We teamed up with, at first, the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the county's Emergency Operations Center, and we sat down and said, what can we do about this? That eventually expanded to the Chamber Alliance. So what we did is converted our boardroom at the Center for Business Excellence into a business operations center, where we could set up computers, and we loaded a database from businesses who had resources that could be used in the aftermath of a hurricane, so that another business could call in and say, if only I had a generator, I could open my doors up again. Well, then we try to hook that business with the resource that could provide that generator. We didn't rent or pay any cost for that. That was up to those two entities to try to negotiate, whether it was a donation or whether it was a rental or whatever it was. But it was just a matter of getting the resources that businesses needed to them so that they could get their business reopened.
So I'm thinking, Rick, that if there are businesses out there that are listening to this, it seems to me that they need to enter their goods and services and their names and addresses into, you must have a database.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, David. As a matter of fact, we've had a couple of meetings recently with Rick Moore from the county EOC and the chambers, and we're trying to update how that happens, because in order to keep that database current, it takes some effort.
Right.
And so our IT director, Charlie Howell, is trying to make that web-based with some passwords and so forth, so a business can go in to the system and kind of edit their own profile and then keep it current, so that we don't have to worry about once a year or twice a year going in and making sure people are still in business. Do they offer the same services? So we're gonna kind of get ourselves into the current century with web-based technology. But we're prepared. I mean, we've already started talking about this hurricane season and what we need to do to make that more efficient.
Can you, or do you know where businesses can get assistance in developing that plan?
Well, certainly with the county's emergency operations team, Rick Moore and his, you guys got a new director now, and they are more than willing to come out to small businesses and sit down and help develop that plan. There are some templates that are available that businesses can go in and find and kind of tweak it to their own circumstances. The Small Business Administration is another way that you can get information on those disaster plans, but it is critical for businesses of all size to have that plan. As a matter of fact, the smaller you are, the more critical it is, because you've got to get up and running as quickly as you can, and you've got to make sure you've got all your technology protected and all those kinds of things. So it's important.
If your workers can't get there, no matter how good your plan is,
that's right.
I mean, you're in trouble.
Right.
So obviously, if people want to get into this database, Rick, get a hold of you, how do they get into this?
You just call our main office, which is area code 386-323-7074.
Okay.
And we've got flyers and we've got other promotional information that we can get to people on how to get their business registered in that system, if they have resources that they want to offer up during the aftermath, or if they're in need of some of those services. So we can get that information. We're kind of in the process of this web thing, so the best thing to do is just to call our main office.
Going back to you, Robin, for those folks that may want to get in touch with the Center for Business Excellence, perhaps they want to get more information, or maybe they want to visit one of your locations. Tell us how they get more information and where your locations are.
They can call main number, area code 386-323-7001. One operator will get them to the 3 centers. We have a center in Daytona Beach, we have one up in Palm Coast, and our newest one is in Orange City.
And doing well, I'm told, in Orange City.
Yes.
You recently moved from DeLand to Orange City, which kind of puts you really in the center of that southwest Volusia population.
Yeah, it took us closer to a lot of the people that we serve, and it was a good move.
Well, I want to thank you both very much for sharing the information with us. Obviously, very important services, both from an economic development side and certainly from a storm preparedness and response side. So, Robin King, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
And Rick Fraser, thank you very much for being with us. Center for Business Excellence is what it's called. Do you have a website?
We do. centerforbusinessexcellence.net.
Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank
and with
you.
that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you too for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. You can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. In fact, there's one coming up called Chutney, Salsa, and Chipotle Oh My. It's at 1 p.m. Monday, August 12th at the Ormond Beach Regional Library. To make reservations, you can call 386-676-4191, extension 21084. Or if you want to learn about any other upcoming library programs, you can go to volusialibrary.org. Last, we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's weekly radio program. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.